cold.
Yeah, earlier I wasn't hearing you as loud.
Oh,
Maybe the mic was too far.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Is that better?
I hear you better now. Oh, no, it was my hat. And I had my headphones over my head.
Because I have a spa voice. So, like, it had dawned on
I was
me
like,
that...
what's going on? I had this was covering my
That's
ears.
so funny. You're like, I can't hear you. Yeah, I have a spa voice. I've worked in, the spa industry, so I talk like this because I'm usually like, I'm in people.
Zen.
It's very zen. So it's like I worked in construction where you're cussing back at the guys, and it's like, what the to a spa environment that I've been in for so long, and now we're podcasting, so I have to like make sure that you can actually hear me and change kind of like the tone. And my spin instructor, she's been wanting me to teach spin classes for so long, but my voice, like, I don't know if I can. We have to set the settings special on the mic because I've done like a test run, because she's like, you're such a good writer. Like, I've done spin, I don't know how long, 7 years, I think I've done spin.
A long time.
So I got into, I guess, well, we're just rolling right into this. I got into cycle because I had a back injury. So kind of going back to our first episode, I have trained forever. I've always been into fitness, but I had a back injury where this is actually kind of funny, not funny, but I had I'd gone to Santa Cruz. I was on the roller coaster, and the roller coaster was so aggressive. It like flung me and my daughter all around to where I had a huge bruise on my hip, but it jolted us so bad. Like, it jolted my entire back.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was like over the weekend. And then that following Monday, I had come back home and I'm on a tilapia and asparagus diet. Stupid. My sister's like, she was a chef, and she's like, tilapia is a man-made fish, and she's like, they don't even have eyeballs. You're gonna get sick. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be fine. So then Monday comes around and I'm doing kettlebell swings. Well, I think I was already starting to get sick. I wasn't feeling very good. So like, I'm doing a kettlebell swing and I thrust, and it just tweaked my back perfectly. So I had gotten rocked from the roller coaster. I'm not feeling good, so I have improper form. And I leave and I go home, and I had food poisoning.
Oh.
And I'm like crying, and my sister had come home later that day. I'm like, oh, I'm so sick. And she's like, I told you. You shouldn't be eating tilapia. So I don't eat tilapia, and I threw my back out. It's probably from upchucking, throwing up. So I couldn't work out for 10 months. That's how bad I threw my back out.
Oh, wow.
It was so, like, even driving a car, like making turns. So after that, I got into spin class because you really don't use, like, you're sitting on a bike. So it actually helps, protect the integrity of your spine. And so I got into spin, and now I just love it. Have you ever tried spin?
Besides my spin bike at home, no.
Oh, it's so fun.
No.
You'll have to go with me.
I know.
one
I
of these
have
days.
to try it someday.
It's fun. Like, it's a vibe. And when Amy teaches, she is...
I used to, so during my prep, when I opt on my my bike at home, I would watch this spinning teacher, and she would I would follow what she was doing, move her arms too on the bike, go up and down. And it's like, and she had music playing, and we would go with the rhythm of the music.
It's so fun.
It's amazing, yeah.
It's
I burned
fun.
tons of calories on that thing.
Well, it's crazy. Like, even just the slightest, like if you're doing a press, your heart rate goes
Your
up.
heart rate, yeah.
And you burn more calories.
Sometimes we do a minute standing and then go back to sitting, standing. It's amazing. It's never dull. It's like always moving.
I really feel like that helped build my quads.
Yeah.
Was that spin.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, like, you can kind of feel it, like, in your hammies.
Speaking of, there's this guy, I don't know what his name is, I forgot. He's a professional cyclist. he has the biggest legs I've ever seen. When I say professional, this guy goes very, very fast for a long period of time. He's been
Oh.
doing that his entire life. His quad freaking humongous. I need to show you that once
Yeah,
I
you
see him
have
again
to.
on my feed.
Is he a spin instructor or he just goes and does
No,
cycle?
he's an athlete. It's
That is so
freaking
awesome.
amazing what bicycles can do for your legs when you just keep at it.
I keep saying, like, when I retire in my my future self, I'm going to be a cyclist.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
what I really
perfect.
want to
It's
do.
perfect too because it's really low impact, so it doesn't hurt your knees.
That's, yeah. It's low impact,
Yeah.
doesn't hurt your knees, and it doesn't hurt your back. And I
Right,
love
it's
it.
hard to get injured on a bike. Yeah.
Well, unless like you flip over your handles. 'Cause I've done
Stationary
that.
bike. Stationary bike. I'm not talking about the regular ones.
Like,
So we on the previous podcast we said we were going to talk about training a bit, and I was asking Brie what she did for glute because I see amazing progress on your glutes, and it looks like
Thank
peaches. So
you.
let's talk about it.
so, we've been doing supersets, and it's been working out really, really well. I've been training with, Josh on Wednesdays, and he's really helped me like activate my glutes and really, cause like you don't need a lot of heavy weight. A lot of people think that you need to load heavy and it's going to grow your glutes. Really, you need to have proper form. That's really like all it is. And it depends on like, you're going to have to find like what works for you because every body type is different. Like you're
Yeah.
taller than me. So
My feet stance might be different than yours.
exactly. So we've been doing hip thrusts on the hip thrust machine. So we superset that with, this one's really fun. So he has a box, and it's, when he does it for me, he sets it at 16 inches. So it's just like a box that like one way is 16, another way is 20.
Okay.
So for me, it's 16 inches. So I get on that, and we're just doing single legs off the box, but like you're keeping your knee straight and you're stepping backwards into like a lunge. So it is kind of like a back lunge off the Smith machine.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like, I've never had my glutes.
No weights. Just body weight?
Not body. You're on the Smith.
Oh,
You're on the Smith machine.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're on the Smith machine. And to be honest, I never see how much weight he puts on.
What?
I don't want to psych myself
You know,
out.
it's better that way. It's better that way.
To not see? Or
So
to...
I tried. So my boyfriend's a power lifter, and I trained in the powerlifting gym that he goes to, and his coach had me on the bench pressing, and I would ask him also how much weight is that, because every set he would keep adding. Also, I wanted to know, and he wouldn't tell me. He said it's better if I don't tell you, because if I tell you, you're gonna stress out and you're gonna fail. And I benched like over 200 pounds.
Damn.
For my max rep. I
That's
was like,
awesome.
my God, that's not possible. You're lying. You just never told me. So, yeah, going back
Yeah.
to what you're saying.
I just don't want to know because I don't want to psych myself out for that reason. Because it's like, so I have no idea what my max is with Josh, ever. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get in my head. But he always says that he puts on more weight than he does his other clients. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I don't ever have anybody do this. So I think that's a compliment, but I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, my butt has never cramped like this in my life ever. So the mind muscle, like, is really, like, they're talking to each other. I went walking yesterday, and I was getting cramps in my glutes just from walking, and I was just telling you, like, it's spasming right now. It won't stop. So we're doing that. I don't do a ton of kickbacks. I mean, I'm training glutes every other week. So,
Wait, every other week. So once every 2 weeks?
well, no. So the way my program is, I'm doing like this week is glutes, but last week was legs. So I alternate.
Okay.
So this week is glute focused. So I'm doing 3 days of glute focus. And then last week was 3 days of quads. So mixed in there. So I had like maybe one little glute day last week.
Oh, that's amazing. I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
It's a
Different. And then rest
nice way
days.
to do the split. You get to recover a longer period of time before you do train it again.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think that's why they're growing. But for the upper glute, I think it's great to have upper glutes. But me, I know personally, I have to grow that like lower. I need that teardrop.
Yeah. Me too. I just don't know what it looks like now because it's chunky over
It's
here.
not. I don't see it yet.
It's jiggly.
What's your training split like?
Oh, I have to admit I'm not training as hard as I used to be. Not training as longer as I used to be. I kind of have so many things going on right now, and with the kids, I'm just so busy. So, it's 3-4 times a week. But I would train quads and glutes on one day, and hamstrings and glutes on the other. And I will do upper body day in between. If I get to go a 4th time, I'll do another upper body day. It just depends how I feel. Yeah.
But you're still looking so good and you're
Oh,
growing.
Yeah, I'm listening to my body. Like, I really, really push myself during those days. The intensity is there. And I think the extra recovery is really helping me. I have gained a lot of muscle mass in my glutes since I started doing hip thrust. So here's the thing. I spent years at the gym not doing hip thrust just because I didn't like it. I hated that thing.
I don't like it.
But I didn't like to set up the barbell. It hurt my pelvis. Even with the pad, whatever I would do, the mats that I would wrap around the barbell, it would hurt me if I wanted to go heavy, And so when I started going to Gold's and that other gym, like they had the hip thrust machines, which allows me to, it's easier.
It's
You don't
easier
have to do the
load.
whole setup. It's more comfortable. And I'm able to lift so freaking heavy. And I've been doing that consistently every week. And that's when I saw the most growth.
Yeah. I do see a lot of girls when they are on the hip thrust, they're complaining about it, like them only feeling it in their hamstring. And I will say, play with your foot placement.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the longest time, like I had my feet for my body, because we're all different. Our foot placements are all going to be different just because of how long your limbs are. So
Yeah.
I would have them too far out at times, and I would feel them in my hamstrings. So I'm kind of like on the middle of the platform. That's barely like, here's the middle, and my feet are like right below it, and that works for me. So play with foot placement.
I was training with someone, at a gym friend, and was like, "Oh, put your feet closer to your body when you do hip thrust, so you can feel it more on the glutes." But when I was doing it, I was like, "No, I'm not feeling it on the glutes. I'm feeding on my quads right now."
Yeah.
And so what I do is I'm going to position my feet on the platform, and I'm going to see where I feel it the most, and I'll be, okay, this is it. That's where I keep my feet. So you're the one who has to test out your foot placement sometimes.
Yeah. And it's okay to feel it in the quad. Like I feel it in the quad every time, but that's also like your secondary muscle that you're working. So you're going to be, it's hard to just isolate one muscle.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm doing hackies, like on the hack squat, and we go heavy, I feel it in my abs. I'm like, oh my gosh, because you're like,
yeah.
oh.
When
like,
I hack squat, the next day I'm always sore in my back. My glutes will be sore, but my back is freaking hurting.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just that hack squat machine, because
maybe
it doesn't have that padding for your lower back. And the way like Josh, he's like, get your lower back like against the pad and then roll your shoulders.
I was talking about the reverse.
The reverse.
Yeah, reverse.
Those like,
which makes more sense. Like you use your back to.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what kind of hack they have there now, but
yeah, they're different.
Yeah, because some you can do the reverse and then some you can't, and I'm not going to risk it. Like,
right.
Some are very sketchy.
And me, on the opposite, I have a hard time to grow my upper glutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't get it as easy as you do.
I could tell you what grew them was kickbacks.
Kickbacks.
All the way back. So you can do standing kickbacks where I guess you're like only going to like a 45.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hinge forward, and have your back flat
Yeah.
and you're doing your kickback, that's what really.
I usually just lean over a little bit. I never actually go flat back. I should try that
That
one.
flat back will really, really get that upper because I know that's what did it.
And like you said, we don't need to go heavy, especially isolating movements like that.
No, like some days, and you can feel it. Like some days I feel like such glute engagement with just 25 pounds.
Yeah. And on the cables, it just doesn't work if I go heavy. Because of the cable, I can't keep a right form. It doesn't work. So I'd rather stay in the 25, 30 pound range.
Yeah, on that cable, it's like, if you're doing like an actual like kick, you can kind of go heavier. But like when you're just doing like, when you're really trying to focus on that upper glute, And when I mean kickback, I'm almost like, how would you describe that? Like where you're doing like a press almost.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like the glute press back, I guess I should say. So I have no upper body right now.
So you don't train upper body at all?
It's not on my program, but we are doing like a shoulder rehab just because like I feel like my shoulders and with like working in the beauty industry,
It's crazy. There is a lot of women that don't train upper body, but once they start to lean down, they look like they've been training. It's because the more you lean out, the more your muscles are going to shape, and then you have enough muscle on your upper body for wellness.
I
hope. Do. And it's not as easy as people think to lose muscle mass when you've carried it for many years. It's like when you have muscle maturity, it's really hard to lose that muscle mass. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your upper body is like awesome. Like, ooh, I want biceps like that.
Oh, my biceps is, I absolutely love my biceps.
That's so awesome. Like, I miss training biceps. And like right now I have like I just need a Theragun.
We don't need biceps for wellness, I'm at the point where I'm like,
nice
don't get too much. Because if you want to do wellness again, and then, because my body is looking very symmetrical right now. Like I need to keep the upper body smaller, or I'm going to have to train these even harder,
Yeah.
So I'm already struggling with legs. And speaking of legs, what's your favorite part of the leg to train?
My favorite part.
I absolutely love hamstrings.
I was just going to say that only because I told Josh last week, I'm like, I want hammies like you. He's like, Bree, I'm trying to give them to you. And I'm like, well, I'm working hard for them. Have you seen his hamstrings?
No.
They're insane, like from the front. And
it's like a shelf on the back.
Yeah. I mean, they're so huge. So hamstrings, I love it. But I also love training quads. Like I feel like that's still one of my favorites. I feel like my quads
get tired really quickly. Like I don't know what's going on. I'm on the leg extension, and I can go very heavy, like 170 pounds on leg extension. And then I was like, shit, I'm getting tired. Oh, I said a bad word, sorry.
I do all the time. It's like, I have a potty mouth. And it's like, I'm trying to hone it in.
And so I'm like, oh, let me drop the weight and see if it's better. Lightweight, like, what the heck is going on? My quads get tired up so easily. I'm like, really? Oh, man, it hurts.
It hurts. But I love that feeling, though.
Maybe I should up my water intake. I don't know. We'll see. Another muscle I like to train is the adductors right here.
Those are fun.
I love, because you don't have to go fancy. Like you just get on the machine and just, it's amazing, because once you do the side pose, you open your leg a little bit, you're going to have that big muscle over here.
Know. Yeah. Like I didn't have that on my program for the longest time. And I'm talking about years. And I'm like, I started doing it on my own because I'm like, how come I don't have these like on my program?
Yeah.
And now I think I bet you, and I joke, I'm like, I bet you I could squish a watermelon right now.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Definitely.
Because
we should try it someday on the podcast.
That'd be so funny. We should, like, during the summer,
Yeah.
see if we could.
Outside.
Yeah, see if we could smash one. Because I think for women, it's a hard muscle to, like, really go heavy just because we have our pelvic floor. And when I first started training, I thought I was going to actually break my pelvic bone.
Oh.
So that's a weak area for women. So if you could strengthen that area, I would suggest every woman do it, not just if you're a competitor, but I mean, we birthed babies. Our pelvic floors are weak, and it's a great muscle to, like, just strengthen in there, because to have that, and, like, you know, we go back to, like, stability. Like, you want to train all areas of your legs.
And training all the areas is going to help you achieve that gluteus. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope Paul, like, just drives me nuts, because it's so frustrating, because he has that glute tie-in now, and he'll be like, hey, do I have it? And I'm like, we can't be friends. Like, just go away. Like,
yeah, sometimes I see my boyfriend bending over to pick up something from the ground. I'm like, motherfucker.
Right? Like, just get out of here. We can't be friends. Go away.
It's right there. Defined the triangle that I want to achieve, that I've been training for so hard to have, and I never get it. He's in board
shorts. He's like,
the dude can eat whatever he wants too. You know, it doesn't matter. It's enough.
I don't even want to talk. Yeah, he can eat whatever. I'm like, and then he'll go. He's like, yeah, I bet you if I go a day without, like, eating, like, if he fasts for a whole day, abs. And I'm like, just get out of here. But, like, the glute tie-in, you don't need that. You're in men's physique. You're in board shorts. Like,
right. Yeah,
like,
you're in powerlifting. You don't need that. You don't need abs. You don't need anything.
Oh, it's
jealous.
It's just women and men are just so different. And genetically, I really feel like we do have to train so much harder, you know?
Oh,
like,
women, yes.
We're very, very specific creatures. And now we're in divisions where
we are literally working against what a female body is supposed to be doing.
I know.
Which is birthing.
But I feel like it's helping us birth. I feel like the stronger you are, I mean, I'm not going to have any babies. I'm 40, so I'm kind of done there. But, you know, we are working against genetics.
Yeah.
But I did have a thought, like, caveman days. I mean, I bet you women were jacked back then.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you they were jacked back in the caveman days. So maybe we're kind of, like, reverting back to our old school genetics. Like,
yeah.
Because you had to have muscle then, right?
Yeah, I've spent so long trying to get my legs defined. I never achieved that until I did a prep. Like, on the prep was the first time I ever saw a cut on my quads. You know, it's like I worked really hard for this, and then as soon as the show is done, it's back to normal.
I love, like, this body, though. Like, right now, I love this body. Like, being thicker, a little fuller.
Me too. But here's the thing, and I have to be very honest and vulnerable here. I am insecure to wear shorts. I never wear shorts. It's really hard for me to wear shorts right now.
So I went through that, and then I had forced myself to sign up for it was like a shorts subscription through Till You Collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for their subscription because I'm like, I'm going to force myself to love shorts.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
It petrifies me. I don't know why.
I just have to be careful wearing shorts out in public because my butt hangs out. So I have to be very mindful. Like, around the house, I mean, if they're, like, workout shorts, that's fine. And those are fine. But, like, actual, like, shorts that other people do wear, like, I have to be very mindful.
Right.
Because
if, like, people probably think I'm crazy for being insecure to wear shorts, but it comes from the fact that I'm very hard on myself.
I didn't wear, like, in high school, I didn't even wear shorts. I never wore shorts. Never.
They had to be, like, knee length.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I do have cellulite. I've learned to, you know, slowly accept that, but it still hurts my ego a little bit somehow because I train so hard and it's still there.
It's just part of being a woman, you know?
You have to. But going back to genetics, that's exactly how my mom is. It's exactly the same spot. I remember when I was a teenager, I would cry about it.
Oh,
And my brother, which he's 5 years older than me, would be like, Nelly, it's okay, it's just genetics. Look at mom, she's the same way. She has it in the same spots. And yeah.
you're just beautiful, though. I think.
Yeah.
Like, you
And
know,
it's funny because when I see cellulite on another woman, I don't go like,
I
oh, it's
know.
disgusting. No. It's me. I'm hard on myself. I
We're
judge
so
myself. I
hard,
criticize myself a lot. I look at myself in the mirror and I analyze myself. Okay, we're gonna have to work on this. This needs to go. Okay, I look puffy. Like it's vulnerable for me to say this,
Yeah.
but really hard on myself. But I also think that's the reason why I'm constantly improving.
Yeah, I don't even like bikinis.
I don't settle.
Yeah, I don't like myself in bikinis. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Mm-hmm.
and to be on stage in a bikini, oh my gosh.
You know what? I found it harder to be backstage than on stage somehow. I don't know.
Mm.
Like, it wasn't hard for me to be in a bikini on stage. It's backstage, I think. I don't know why.
I mean, even a bikini on the beach, I'm still uncomfortable.
I'm
Like-
not fully comfortable in a bikini,
Yeah.
which is crazy because
So-
you guys see me are like, shit, she has an amazing body. What she's complaining about? It's me being hard on myself, and this sport we're kind of all the same, like in that sense.
Little body
Everyone in the
dysmorphia.
gym struggles with something.
Yeah. It's that body dysmorphia because we're always
Yeah.
like striving for more. And there was this one, I posted it the other day and I've had a lot of people comment on it, but it's like, yeah, and I'm not going to regurgitate it verbatim, but it was kind of like, those who are, how to go, like those who are like always hard on themselves, like we're constantly critiquing ourselves, but that's because we constantly are setting the bar higher. Like we have such high standards for ourselves.
I hold myself to
And-
very high standards.
Mhm. And we're always trying to achieve more and we're always trying to grow. And it's not just body, but like even, career and like I'm always trying to grow my mind and expand my mind. So it's not just like I'm hard on my body. It's like I want to fill my mind full of knowledge. We're growing this podcast. We're adding more to our plates. We're expanding like our repertoire, going and trying to.
That was a French word. Répertoire.
I don't say it like you, but
Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my body. I think I have great genetics, but I am still very hard on myself.
that picture
I will
you
never
posted,
wake up and be like, oh, I'm fat. No, I know I'm not fat. I just have certain things in my body I wish looked better for the amount of effort I've put in.
Yeah.
Basically.
like that picture you posted. I'm like, oh
It
my
has a
gosh,
mind
you
on
look
its own.
amazing. You look the one you just posted yesterday.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't lose that much weight this past year. I just body recomped slowly.
Yeah,
Like
you
it's
look
kind of
amazing.
like if I had a late reverse diet, I would say,
Yeah, I mean, you look really, really good, and you can
Thank
see that
you.
you've grown.
Yeah, I
But
could
you've
see
held
my legs have grown.
An amazing off season.
My glutes on the side have grown. It's I'm very happy with my results because I was not even really strict with my diet. I wasn't tracking my food this past year. I wanted to like be more balanced because I was so strict for so many years.
Yeah.
And with the prep and everything, I just needed a year off. And I ate when I was hungry. If I wanted to have a dessert with my kids, I would. If I want to have a burger with my boyfriend, I do. It's not like there's no really set rules, but most of the time, from Monday to Friday and Sunday, I will eat healthy.
Yeah.
And so there's just like a day where I will allow myself a few treats here and there. So I'm still, following certain guidelines, but not too strict.
Well, and it's all about balance, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm enjoying right now. That's why it's like, so I have a phone call sometime this week. It's a Zoom with Marissa and Chris, and we're going to be discussing prep. So that's why I allowed myself to have the brownies on Friday because I'm like, you know what, prep is going to be here soon. So I'm like, I'm going to enjoy the treats, and I think I'm going to get myself some ube bread and just deal with the gluten consequences.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be tightening it up real soon.
Are you going to do a show soon?
We're doing a show this year. I just don't know what show.
Oh, so you are doing it. Oh my God, that's gonna be awesome.
So prep brain, you're gonna have to like deal with that prep brain like on this podcast. I'm gonna have some brain farts.
That's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
I'm so nervous.
Why?
Just the diet down. I realized, like, I sat with myself and I realized how I don't like to use words like PTSD. I don't like to use like the word trigger, but going back to how we were both talking about how lean we got, I think I'm really, really nervous to
ruin your hormones again.
Not that. I feel like I'm in a really good spot.
Okay.
I feel like
you have a good coach.
I have
too.
a really good coach, and Marissa has increased my calories to where, like, when we do start to cut,
you have room.
I have room, and I don't feel like my calories are going to ever get so low in my prep because I'm at a pretty good spot right now. I would say, I would have to lose another 20, 25 pounds.
Oh God, are you
I'm
sure?
assuming, yeah.
What was your stage weight last time?
120.
Oh my God.
So I'm guessing I will be close to like 128 pounds this time.
Okay.
And that's just because I've built muscle. So that's what I'm guessing because I'm pretty intuitive with my body. So mark my words, I think I'll be about 128 pounds on stage, but then they feed you, carb load you. So maybe 132 on stage, I think I'll be.
Yeah. Because you gained more muscle since.
So that's what I'm guessing. So I think I have about 20 pounds to lose. But I'm just nervous that second prep really messed with me.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't a good feeling. I didn't feel good. I was very insecure being that, like, I felt like I looked like Skeletor. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't healthy. And I don't want to, we've talked about, like, being an influence for our daughters and then an influence for other people. Like, I don't want my daughter to look at me and be like, oh, that is like the ideal body type. You know what I mean? Like, we are stage lean, but I feel like I'm not meant to be bikini. I'd have to go to extreme measures, and that was an extreme prep. Like, it was. So I don't think I'll have that experience, but I'm also super nervous. Like,
yeah.
I've taken this August will be 3 years off season, so I have to requalify all over again.
It's better that way. So that way you can go for the overall.
I'm trying. I really hope so.
That's like, what I want to do.
Let's hope those tie-ins are there.
Even though, I got qualified, like, I want to do the show again and win the overall. That's just my ego.
Like, right?
I know I could get it if I get the tie-in, but.
Oh, yeah, the tie-ins. That's what really.
But what you did, taking such a year, a long off season, was, I think, the best thing you could have done for yourself.
I mean, I hope so. But then I also had like that 1 year where I don't want to get too into that, but I feel like I could have had a coach that worked with me a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I'm in a good spot now. I have Marissa and Josh keeping eyes on me. And like the reason why I like to have a coach is because life is so chaotic. It just gives me one less thing to think about because like my brain, our family is so busy. Like, it's nice.
Even me, sometimes I'm training and I know that if I had someone telling me to keep going, I would, but I go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. But I still have some in me left. But that some in me left won't come out unless someone really pushes me and forces me to keep going.
You had asked me like, how come I have an in-person coach? So I have Josh, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing he says all the time, he's like, he's hardcore.
Military.
Kind of. Like, he doesn't give up. Like when I want to bitch out, it's just a burn. It's just a burn. Like,
he's right.
He does not let me quit. And like, there's times where, did I tell you I popped a blood vessel?
Oh gosh.
That's how hard we trained. Like, I was wearing a hat and I felt it go.
Oh my God.
And he's like, that's normal. That's how you know you're pushing yourself. That's how hard I'm pushing myself when I'm training with him. It's insane. Like, I feel like sometimes we're psychotic. Bodybuilders are kind of like,
Yeah.
there's something in us that's like, we're kind of psychos because of how hard we do train. Like, I know you train hard. I know you train hard. And I know I train hard. And there's something in us, like, it's kind of sick. Like,
Yeah, 'cause
we go to the gym to,
it's self-inflicted
it's
pain.
it's not comfortable. Like,
It's not. And here's the thing: some people, which reminds me, some people go to the gym for a few months and they're like, "Oh, I don't see any progress." Or people that I've trained, it all comes down to the intensity that you're putting in. You know, you have to make sure that you are earning.
yeah. And then check-in photos, like, do the progress photos.
Yeah.
Because even if you're not
Oh, yeah.
seeing it, like, even if you're not seeing it, you do those progress photos
Yeah.
and you can actually do like a
Yeah.
comparison and then really see it.
When someone tells me they're not progressing, I'm like, okay, let me see the pictures.
Yeah.
Because it's just like me. At first I wasn't seeing my progress at all. I'm like, I look the same. My boyfriend was like, no, you look completely different.
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm gonna take pictures. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
You're like,
And
I
I
do-
put side by
yeah.
side. I'm like, wow.
But it's funny how other people see it before you
And
do.
we don't.
Because I don't.
All comes down to being so hard on yourself. You know, you expect more, you always want more. But the
Yeah.
gradual and slow progress, other people are seeing, you know.
I really hope I have those tie-ins. I keep talking about that, but like, that's the biggest, like,
Right.
but like you were just talking about, like, you know, how some people don't see anything after even 2 months. You know, there was a client that we had, and we talked about this last podcast, and the last podcast was so good, and we didn't get our sound, but there's a client, and she has Ehlers-Danlos, and, you know, we keep talking about bodybuilding, but like, to be in the gym and train, it's not just for bodybuilders. I guess everybody is a bodybuilder because you're building muscle. So maybe I'll just say, you know, you don't have to be a competitor to go to the gym, work out, and train. But Ehlers-Danlos is this very, very unique and rare disease. And it affects your ligaments, your tissues, your bones, and your cartilage. So this client, for instance, like, she's so limber.
She's hyper flexible.
To where, like, she has to be very, very careful. Even like, she had grabbed a can off the shelf and she dislocated her pinky.
Oh my goodness.
She can dislocate her toes just by walking, and she had hardly any stability. She was wearing braces on her legs, so she hired me as her coach, in-person coach. And just 3 months of training with me, she was able to take the braces off of her legs. And at one point, and she's not doing this to look sexy in any way, shape, or form. She's like, Brie, I just want to live. And now, since I'm not doing in-person coaching at the moment, she's training with Paul, but she's doing phenomenal. She is so much stronger. She's still lean. You can tell she's put on muscle, but she walks around on a day-to-day basis without those braces on her legs. She's like, Brie, I was able to go up a flight of stairs, which is huge for her. Like, things that we take for granted, like us walking up and down stairs, she would have to do that with braces on her legs. And now she can do it without. Like, it's amazing.
That's
and
crazy.
then
And you said, I think your boyfriend almost
it was her
passed
husband.
out.
Yeah, her husband had surgery for carpal tunnel. And the medication that he was on for the pain, he had an adverse reaction, and I guess he started to seize. So she saw him, and he was like kind of seizing and falling. And she went and she was able to scoop him up and catch him.
It's crazy.
And he noticed, he's like, you would have never been able to do that if it weren't for you.
She saved him from head trauma.
Yep. And she would have never been able to do that if it weren't for her starting her journey towards her health.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. And we're not here just to look aesthetically.
Oh, no, for sure not.
know.
I'm approaching 40, and my goal is to be able to continue moving. I remember I went to Tahoe with a friend of mine a few years back, and me and my friend went on this kind of, rocky hike in the mountains and everything. It wasn't easy. And then we came across a group of 3 elderly women on that hike with the
That's awesome.
sticks and everything, and they're just like
Mhm.
having a good time. I look at my friend, I'm like, that's gonna be me
Heck
when I'm older.
yeah.
I want to be able to move when I'm older.
Move.
Like
Yep.
it's like I was. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the podcast that wasn't recorded. When my mom has been in pain her entire
Yeah.
life, I have never known my mom without pain. Constantly, her back, her knees, this and that. She has diabetes, everything, this and there. But my mom doesn't eat right. She thinks that to lose weight she has to fast, not eat, and and so my mom is kind of, it's unfortunate, the reason why I don't want to be like her.
I know.
I can't. I don't want to have the life she is, constantly on meds her entire life. I don't take any meds.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
literally,
either.
if you're gonna put me on meds, I must be a life or death situation. But the benefits of weightlifting when it comes to aging is just tremendous, and people, you're not going to be healthy forever. You're going to
know.
start feeling weak at some point. Sarcopenia is going to kick in. You're going to lose some muscle mass, and if you fall, you could really get
You
injured.
could really get injured. And, I think like we'll share this on another podcast in the future because my mom too, and I love her to bits, but some of the choices that she's made or lack thereof, I don't want to be like that either.
Yeah.
And my mom has a very hard time walking and has no stability.
Yeah.
And to not have that muscle to be able to support your body, I mean, I just don't want that, And then I go back to my grandpa. He's passed away. He passed away last January, but he is the reason why I am the way I am.
All right. So I
He
remember.
modeled, yeah, and it's so cool because even like it was the December before he passed, so a month before he passed away, he was griping like, I just want to go work out, and we're like, Grandpa, like, you're 94.
That's going to be us in
I
the
know,
future.
so stubborn. I mean, he was so stubborn. It's so funny. And so my cousins were like, okay, Grandpa, you can squat, which just meant you can sit on and off the bed. So he would do that. Like, it was even a year before he passed, he was still doing pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has been so active his entire life. He was not really on medication his entire life. He ate clean. He enjoyed, treats here and there. He enjoyed a little bit of wine. He enjoyed some beer here and there. But he is the reason why I live the life I do, because I watched him growing up, and he
was a role model.
was such a role model. He was always in the gym. I mean, I even think I have like pictures of me and him at the gym together, and this was like a few years back. Like, how awesome is that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He was so cool. Like, so cool. I loved it.
It's very important to have someone in your circle that you look up to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was trying to say in regards to my kids.
I know, right?
I'm probably the only person that can serve as a good role model for them. Well, we're going to talk about this.
Gosh, we have so much to talk about. Like,
Yes.
I mean, yeah, being the only person, and I feel
Speaking of addictions, my kids know what addictions is, not from my part, but we'll talk about
I
it on another
know.
podcast.
And my kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be. We're gonna need tissues. I think we're gonna need tissues for that one.
Yeah.
'Cause that one's pretty deep. But on that note, I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we have. And I'm like the last podcast, I need to pee again.
Oh man, it's getting a little bit warmer. But again, on that note, like I said, we want to keep this a positive space.
Yeah.
We don't want any negative comments. We enforce positive feedback. Any questions, concerns, or topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, we will be talking about addictions. We will be talking about
Domestic violence.
domestic violence, which, that one's,
Vulnerable posts and
Yeah.
stories that I've never actually spoke about in my social media, but I will take this opportunity to, share more
yeah.
about vulnerable experiences,
I
because
don't-
we've been through some stuff, and with that, if it can help anyone out there.
Yeah,
and,
that's
know.
one thing with Nelly and I. We have our lives were not cupcakes, butterflies, and rainbows.
Mhm.
I'll say that. We've gone through a lot of shit.
If
I
you
think-
would like to share your
Mhm.
experience too, in regards to anything, just send us a message.
Yeah, because we want you to know you're not alone. I
Yeah.
mean,
For sure.
yeah.
And we'll give you our feedback.
Yep. So we'll be discussing that. And
Right.
on that note, thank you so much. Should subscribe, share.
Yes.
Tongue twister. And we will see you next time.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.